Welcome back to the Maritime Lemonade Stand. Been a few weeks, sorry, been super busy. Lots to catch you up on. Sea trials. We've had the first 3 sea trials. Leaving for the Bahamas next week. Weather looks good as long as there's not some annoying hurricane. Packed for Miami. Been taking a couple weekends down to Miami, so fill you in on that. But I want to tell you a story about one of the more interesting characters that I've met on this trip. I was sitting here on the boat about a week ago and just listening to the radio weather reports. You know, you always keep your radio on. And I hear somebody come over telling the bridge behind me, the Flagler Bridge, saying, look, I need an emergency opening. I am under distress. I have no motor. I'm coming in under sail. So the bridge has to open, and it's a big thing, and we go out there to watch. It's going through a bridge with no motor under sail, highly dangerous and highly impressive. I mean, the boat's kind of, keeling over like this, and it's really narrow, and it's a super hard thing to do. You have to be a really, really good sailor. So came through unscathed, took a couple laps here in front of us, and then sailed right up next to me to the dock under sail. And I'm not going to bore you with how hard that is, but I mean, the wind is pushing you everywhere, so your motor kind of evens that out, and then you just you park up next to the dock and you throw your lines out and you tie up. But he's doing this, he's using the wind to kind of tie up. It's you have to be an incredible sailor to do that. So as soon as he did that, we kind of all applauded, and I was like, this is somebody I want to share a drink with and get some advice with. He's an amazing sailor. As it turns out, he did have a lot of advice, but it was not the kind of, it's not what I was expecting. It was kind of more inspirational. So I sat down with him, and I would like to introduce you to Johnny, the single-handed, I should say the solo single-hander.
Yes, solo and single-handed. As you can see, there's some damage to my arm here that I have had. It was unfortunately paralyzed in an accident, but I have managed and figured a way to sail and to continue sailing. And my goal is to inspire other people who have had deficiencies or issues in their life, whether it's a physical challenge or an emotional challenge. But if you want to do something with enough passion, you really can do it. My mantra is 90% attitude and 10% effort, and that's what's got me to where I am today. Yeah, the simplest challenge of putting a hand over fist is a very complex thing with only using your single hand. So what I will do is I will get my feet involved, my leg, my thigh. If I have a line over my lap, I'll hold it on my chest like so, and it'll pin it just enough pressure to hold it. I mean, I can't do it under a heavy load, but I figure out other ways to do that. So
you mentioned dinghy. That had to take some getting used to.
Yeah, rowing a dinghy without an engine with one arm. Let me tell you, it was I was like a one-legged duck going in circles for a little while there. But with anything, like I said, 90% attitude, 10% effort. I put all my effort in, and my attitude was really good, and I learned how to do it with one arm, just rowing and rowing. When there's heavy weather or when it takes a little longer.
But I mean, even the simplest day-to-day task, watching him make lunch. For us to make lunch, we make lunch. It's automatic. We can do 3 things at once. But for him, he has to take his little corn can. I'm not laughing at him. I'm just laughing at having watched this. He has to take the can out to the stone, rub it until the lid pops open. Then he has to go back on his boat. Has to take a knife basically to pry the corn open again with one hand. And this is all for something we might consider to be a quick and easy lunch, and for him we're talking about 15 minutes of prep. And just watching this, just watching him eat and watching how long it took him to make what we would consider to be a sad, simple little lunch. I asked him if there was anything kind of non-sailing that made his life hell.
Yeah, the worst is electrical. That's probably why I only have one light working on my boat. My radio works and one light. But wiring, splicing 2 wires together with one hand, I end up using my mouth and putting them in here, and hopefully I haven't turned the power off or I get a little shock. But that's, I would say, probably my least favorite thing to do is wiring.
And I'm telling you, just how inspirational. I know this is a generic term to use for something like that, but how unbelievably just inspirational. And his goal is to sail and to inspire other people with difficulties that they can kind of do anything they put their mind to. But I think what he didn't realize is over the course of 4 or 5, almost a week of me filming him going out on his boat, kind of watching how he goes about all of that, gets the sails up and steers and parks and everything. I think what he didn't realize is that for me, who's new to this, who's super scared and losing sleep about crossing over to the Bahamas next week, I think he didn't realize what an inspiration he was to people like myself with no exterior problems or handicaps. And, should you see a boat coming through a bridge under distress and same boat kind of pulls up next to you under sail to the dock, I challenge you, I highly suggest, I beg of you to buy him a few beers and just listen to some of his stories. There are 30 stories I would have liked to show on this, but I think I'll save those for when you get to meet him yourself. But just spend time with him. It's just you'll be better for it.